Welcome to another rather uneventful evening in New Sarum, it seems. As Mutt sits at Lacey's place on the couch, maybe his mind has been fluttering here and there about what Axel, Stefan, and himself have planned for Roy Marshall. Some would think that perhaps Mutt should feel guilty about this. He doesn't feel guilty at all. All he can hope for is that whatever the Malkavians have planned for Roy, they make sure that he at least stays somewhat alive. He could have some uses later on. He watches, perhaps he flips through the television, see what's on tonight. It doesn't seem like there's much. Apparently Sesame Street has been moved to HBO. Maybe that's what's been occupying his time. Just looking at maybe stuff from his youth that for some reason still catches people's interests. Then he flips it over to somewhere else. Just continuously flipping till he almost gets to the local news, and that's when his phone goes off. The distinct ringing. What? Oh. He looks at the number. It's Howard. Wonder what happened. Answering the phone. Hello, Howard.
Mutt, are you there? You hear a constant, frantic breathing through the phone.
Yeah. What? Howard, calm down, man. Calm down. What's going on?
Have you heard yet?
No, heard what?
Oh God. Listen, flip over to the news.
Mutt does so, and here's the thing about the Chiron explosion. He just goes, the fuck?
Yeah.
The fuck?
This happened. I saw it. Me and Axel saw it.
Immediately hearing Axel's name in this. Okay, Howard, where are you?
I'm in my car, and I just dropped off Axel. Listen, I need to talk to you about this. Where are you?
Don't worry about that. Just find a place that we can talk to. I'll make it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Crap. What's a good place? Howard, you can hear him trying to contemplate this while driving, and basically he finally says, I don't know, meet me down by the park. Like it's really late. No one's gonna be down there.
Washington Park.
Yeah, the big one, the one with the forest.
All right, I'll see you there.
All right. Howard hangs up at this point. He is. His car is a mess, but at this point, he's not letting his OCD take over. There are cigarettes all over the floor from when Axel was trying to get one out while they were driving. And he finally does make it to the park after a long amount of driving. And while he waits for Mutt, he is very frantically scouting out the area. Very few people here, mainly. I'm actually just going to roll for it to see how many are just out in the open area of the park. There's about 4 people out there, yeah. And he is looking off down into the hiking trails where he knows there's going to be basically nobody in there at this point, and trying to think if it's that'll probably be a good place for talking with Mutt about this sort of thing. And while he waits for Mutt, he is mainly just sitting on a bench, just thinking about seeing that gigantic inferno that happened, and just feeling the amount of emotions running through his head at this point, and the fear in his head. He is he's trying to calm himself by stroking the silver pendant of the wolf head around his necklace.
Mutt has called for a taxi. Unfortunately, it seems that the taxi hit a bit of a snag when it got to him. However, even though there was hardly anybody around, it still took him quite a while to get to the park. Maybe just the distance, something like that. Anyway, Mutt pays the cabbie his fare as he heads out. Must be a rather slow night for him, he thinks, despite what the news says. Mutt briskly walks to where he thinks Howard is, perhaps. Just gives him a little this as he briskly gets over there. Okay. We need to find a place where there's quite a bit of people here, but we need to find a place where we can talk a little more openly.
The hiking trails are closed right now, but
Fuck it. Let's go.
all right. Howard has been to this park many times actually before. He is a bit of a he does love nature, a little too much at times. So he does know a bit about this area. He remembers coming here as a kid, and he knows where great hiding spots, mainly with when he screwed around with his brother and hid for hours from him, basically scared the crap out of him for no good reason other than just to have some fun. He finds an area along one of the trails where they can go off some large rocks around there where they could sit and no one would be around there to bother him. It's very dark out here. He pulls out his lighter to help guide him through. And finally gets to the spot where sits down on one of the large rocks and is just contemplating. Well, so yeah, shit has gone down.
Well, Howard, that's kind of obvious with the fact that building blew the fuck up. But just take it a bit at a time, please. Just take it a bit at a time, and tell me what happened.
What happened tonight? Me and Axel were down by a little warehouse area. We were mainly just talking. The recent events have transpired, and Axel has been volunteered to train me, as in a sense.
Mutt will cock his eyebrows. Really? We'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit later. The building, please. Let's keep on track.
Near the end of the conversation, we were just walking outside when all of a sudden we heard a large rumbling, and in the sky there was bright orange. We ran down the street to see what it was, and in the distance we saw a building on fire. It was completely erupted, and when we were looking at it, it was the Cherion group's building, and that little helicopter that nearly was trying to find me when Roy, did his little great idea.
Yes.
We saw it go down, plummeted right into the bay, kaboom, gigantic explosion.
Mutt thinks a little bit about what Howard has told him. Maybe just the fact that he was a criminal in his past life. Maybe he thinks about what kind of stuff would it be. Maybe not law. Would it just be intelligence or wits?
I think. Do you have law?
Yes, I do have law, actually.
I think it might be intelligence plus law.
Okay. Mutt kind of goes, well, for this sort of thing, this definitely is not just, for all intents and purposes, I'll say this. It doesn't seem like some kind of ramshacked little pipe bomb. Mm-mm. This had to be something. Granted, I wasn't there. I don't know. But from what I saw on the news, that definitely wasn't a pipe bomb. That had to be something really big.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's like he kind of goes, that's some terrorist level bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all intents and purposes, that makes things a little bit hard for, well, makes things a little hard for the people in that area. Regardless of that, definitely seems that the Chiron group, whatever the fuck that bullshit name is, whatever is going on there, at least someone, it warranted enough that someone decided to try and blow it the fuck up.
Yeah. Axel currently has a suspicion.
All right, please continue with that.
He thinks it was Voltaire.
Mutt will actually cock his eyebrow quite heavily at this. Maybe there's like a bit of a smirk, as if he honestly can't believe this. Voltaire, really,
Yeah.
Mister, I can't have any fucking evidence. Voltaire.
Yeah. Mr. I couldn't even get into the building, Voltaire. That I was stopped by 2 rent-a-cops, Voltaire.
I don't want to disagree with Axel on this, but this seems a little too, well, kind of points to himself, a little too my style of methods. I don't think Mr. Voltaire would do something like that. Granted, he may have paid someone. That I might think. But him actually doing this, I don't think so. Hell,
in the hysteria, I was agreeing with Axel, but as I kept thinking about it, how would this one Ventru do any of this? The man has, from what I know, has very few connections. I spoke with him for the first time I met him, something to do with the police, and he was sort of on the side of the whole police union thing. Other than that, I don't see criminal connections with this man. I don't know who he was.
Exactly. I think honestly, if I can say, every time I've had to do any kind of associating with Mr. Voltaire, he seems to not exactly like me because I am a criminal element. So I don't really think he would actively join in what he would call rampaging or Bruja fashion. If he did, though, I'd be honestly very surprised.
Yes, and
maybe I'd be a little flattered that he wants to try and do Bruja shit. But regardless of that,
either way, first tradition, if he did this, first tradition out the window.
Oh, no, most definitely.
Oh, dear God.
Coward.
The ironic thing about this is me and Axel were talking philosophically at length about the first tradition right before that happened. I'm not even joking you.
It's Howard, just calm down. Just calm
down.
Sorry. No. Aside from Mr. Voltaire, me and we'll figure that out as we go along. No reason to jump the fence until we got actual evidence. However, you said you were talking with Axel about what exactly?
Well, Axel and I recently, he has been doing what my sire kind of forgot to do. Teaching me more about the Camarilla, because Finch, my sire, he despises me and really is just a paranoid crazy and just didn't want to teach me anything. I mean, he taught me mainly the basics, and I've kept on the right line so far, but because of recent events that have transpired, yes, with Axel. I also wanted to ask you a question. I don't know actually much about Axel. Could you tell me anything more about him?
Like what exactly? Like what his favorite color is? What kind of underwear he likes to wear? His job.
Yeah, I finally been privy to what he does.
I see. Well, you're already sitting down, so that certainly helps you out there.
Mm-hmm.
Howard, Axel fixes problems. Now, you may think he fixes problems. That's easy. It's not Howard. Problems that involve Axel usually means it involves doing very horrible things to things. Let me give you an example. Couple of weeks ago, I had an incident with a kind. The kind did not survive. I can assure you that. However, I had a body on my hand. Couldn't necessarily do anything myself. I called Axel. Axel came, and he took care of the body. I don't think I need to tell you what he needed to do to get rid of the body. If you want, I can give you great detail on what he did.
No.
No. Now, you said you want to know what it is Axel does? Axel fixes problems. Granted, he would rather not have to fix problems, but unfortunately, it's something that he has to do. And I'm thankful for the fact that he does that for me. That he actually takes initiative. There's a lot of kindred out there, Mr. Voltaire, for example, who would just sit on their ass and not do shit about problems. He actually gives a shit. So, yeah, he solves problems. He's got to get his hands dirty. Who doesn't? If you don't want to get your hands dirty, you shouldn't be out in the streets.
I see.
Now, the reason I'm telling you all this, more or less, is you said you want to know Axel. That's fine. My reason is, why do you need to know?
I'm going to be working with him. And
Mutt's just going to do a perception alertness, I think. Or would it be perception empathy?
For what?
Just to see, working with him, see if there's like a code in that.
Let's see here. I mean, I have. Is this like two rolls against each other sort of thing?
No. This is more of if Mutt's trying to see if there's an underlying.
It would be perception empathy.
Okay, well then I do not have empathy, so it's just going to be strict perception. And with one success, Mutt.
Yeah,
sorry.
out of you go ahead because
okay.
I was.
Mutt, as with the underlying tone, Mutt kind of has an inkling that maybe working is not in the same way that Axel and Mutt work. It might be something a little bit different. He gets that kind of feeling, perhaps, but nothing more than that, unless Howard decides to elaborate upon that definition.
He doesn't elaborate. He just says working, basically.
I see. Well, Howard, then you'd better be prepared to get dirty, because Axel, much like me, we are not afraid to get our hands dirty. He kind of shows his hands as if a metaphorical sense. It's like these hands are dirty. Not dirty with what you think. These hands are dirty with red. Axel's probably has dirty red hands too. But that's just how it is for people that need to solve problems. That's just how it goes.
I see.
So you'd better be prepared to handle that kind of situation. Now, Howard, Axel, for all intents and purposes, he'll steer you right. He always does. Especially, look at me, for example. He does his best to help me out. But Axel also wants people who are capable. So you need to prove to him that you're capable.
He's already expressed that to me heavily.
Good. Now, if he needs any help, I'll help him out as much as I can with anything that needs to get done. But yeah, you working with Axel, it's not just a solving problems thing. There's another thing you got to worry about. Well, he's your cousin. You know what kind of things can happen, right?
Yes, I know.
All right. Well, let me tell you another story. This one has a somewhat better ending than the one previously. Axel had a bit of a problem. A kind of problem. And, They called me. They called me to try and handle it. Now, Axel, for all intents and purposes, was in a very, very bad state of mind. And I tried to help him out. Unfortunately, things happened, and he almost bashed my skull in with a tombstone.
Oh, dear.
And he almost did it too, if it wasn't for, how things go. Perhaps fate had other plans. The little affliction that was happening to him kind of cleared up, and he went back to normal, plain old Axel. Now, that's something you have to deal with. There might become a time when Axel is going to flip, and you're going to have to deal with that. If you don't, Howard, he will do horrible things to you.
Okay.
Am I trying to scare you? Do you think I'm trying to scare you, Howard?
No, you're trying to warn me.
Oh, no. I am doing both, Howard. Holiday. I am scaring you and making you understand why. Because Axel scares me. Now let me again
Howard
repeat.
shudders out of character. Howard shudders, like you just see, like just his body, like just it tingles with fear out of that when you say that.
Again, Howard, I will repeat it. Me, the Bruja Whip, the biggest dog in the fucking yard, is scared of Axel Linwood. Keep that in mind when you do stuff with him. Granted, like I said, he'll steer you right, but you always gotta make goddamn sure that he's not about to chew someone's face off or think that there's something coming out of the ground.
Wow.
Muddle smiled a little bit as if, well, he's at least introduced Howard to what they do. And he's introduced Howard to the rather dark side of Axel that I don't think many see. But Mudd has seen. Oh, Mudd has seen plenty of things. Now, Howard, with that said and done, like I said, if Axel needs help with you or anything, I got his back. Keep that in mind. That applies to you too.
Thank you, Mutt. Now,
No. Yes.
the other matter still. Chiron or Chiron, however the fuck you're supposed to pronounce it. Whoever they are, whatever. Anyways, I'm still very scared on that matter. What do you think we should do at this point?
Well, according to what I saw on the news or some little bit of it, weren't they saying that they were going to try and investigate something like this?
FBI got called in.
Yeah, then that means that we're going to have to be very careful and not be stupid when we go out. Because unfortunately, yes. Howard, we have to still go out. It's going to be it's going to be pretty goddamn hard. So whoever did do this, I honestly hope that it wasn't one of us. Because if it was fucking one of us, I'll be the first to rip their fucking head off. Because you fucked up immensely. And you better be goddamn sure. Howard, that if Axel finds out it's one of us, you can bet your ass he'll want to fuck him up far worse than I will.
Oh dear.
Now, if it's just a stupid idiot human, well, that's fine. We can make him disappear. No harm, no foul. That's just how it goes.
FBI will probably get him for that. Hang his head up. Maybe they'll hang him upside down.
Maybe. I certainly hope that whatever they do, it gets done, it gets solved, we get back to business, and everything's hunky-dory. Now,
I do notice one very odd thing about this. Now, with Zachary, I do not believe it was him. Him doing something on a scale like this is insane. I understand why Axel doesn't like Zachary very much. I don't know the details of their mutual hatred, but I know they dislike each other, and I can see why Axel would come to that conclusion. Here's the strange thing I find. This whole Zachary business of him thinking that Chiron was up to something? Now think about this. This stone fellow, I'm just putting this out there. I'm not saying that there's any fact behind this, but I find it even more suspicious that if this wasn't one of us who did this, why? Why did they do it at this point in time? Was it pure coincidence? Because it seems like it's more than just that. All of a sudden, because all of a sudden, this stone fellow that we were trying to track down is taken by them. And just just 2 days later, the place is up in smoke, and a helicopter crashes in the bay. That's very odd, I have to say.
Perhaps it could just be a weird coincidence, or for all intents and purposes, who's to say it was an outside party? It could have been an inside party.
Could have been.
This is corporation bullshit we're talking about. Corporations fuck each other up all the goddamn time.
Corporate warfare is a very big thing that exists.
Yeah. So
From what I've heard, if it is corporate warfare, that would make sense. I was researching on their site, and it seems that they have come into acquisition of some groups that used to belong to another company.
You have the name of the company?
Don't remember what it's. I didn't actually get the name. It's just it was saying, "Oh, we've acquired some new groups," because these Cherion people, they have pockets. They have their pockets deep in everything: soft drinks, pharmaceuticals, pizza parlors, for God's sake.
I would say you should try and find someone who is good with computers. If you know someone.
I think I might.
But for all intents and purposes, Howard, just stay close to Axel and do what he says. That's all. That's all you need to do right now. Whatever else you need to do, as in you want to look into this shit, do it on your own time. Don't do it on Axel's time.
Yeah.
Now, Mutt will look at his phone. Looking at the time, seeing if there was another message. Listen, Howard, I gotta go. I got some stuff I need to do.
All right.
Now, like I said, you guys need me, you call me. No harm, no foul. He'll pat Howard on the back as he walks off, perhaps to call another cab to another location in New Sarum. But Howard Holiday, the new problem solver of Clan Malkavian, what does he think of the events that are unfolding at this point in time?
Howard, he's thinking at this point just the entire mess that has just transpired and this entire thing. He knows now that whatever he does, Axel is responsible for his actions until that time ends. But at the same time, he's just so caught up in this idea of some form of conspiracy that might be going on with this Cherion organization. And he's thinking of maybe phoning up the woman from that night that the gun was fired. And that is where our scene will end.